All right, man, peace. So the upcoming NBA season is right around the corner, and the Las Vegas sports books have released their odds for who they consider to be the betting favorites to win the upcoming NBA championship. Of course, the prohibitive betting favorite is last year's champions, the Golden State Warriors. So they're going to talk about it. Of course, I'm going to chime in. Let's see what they have to say.
Westgate Superbook released their NBA odds
I love when Curry does that shit.
yesterday, and the Warriors are an overwhelming favorite to repeat as champions. The Warriors over-under is set at 67.5 wins, 11 games better than any other team in the league. Skip, should the Warriors be this big of a favorite?
No, they should not be. This is actually laughable to me because the Golden State Warriors did not earn this invincible status in last year's playoffs.
I don't think that anyone is deeming them invincible. I just believe that the sports betting lines are deeming them to be the prohibitive betting favorite, as they should be. When you go 16-1 in a playoff run in your first year, having that team with most probably the second best player in the NBA in Kevin Durant, you have a year under your belt. They assume that they're going to be even better this season. I don't believe that there's anything wrong with that. With with the subtraction of Kyrie Irving, I think most people are expecting Cleveland to not be quite as good as they were last year, at least during the regular season. When we look at San Antonio, they're just a year older, basically. So to me, it's very reasonable that Golden State should be considered the prohibitive regular season betting favorite.
If you look hard at what happened last year, people are actually overreacting to and overrating what they pulled off in the playoffs because it wasn't that impressive. They got 3 huge injury breaks in the Western Conference playoffs.
No such thing as an injury break. No such thing as an injury break. You either make good decisions during the season in how you play your players, or you don't. Certain things are going to happen in athletic events. We can go back to when Cleveland came back from down 3-1. We know that it had a lot to do with Stephen Curry being hurt, but that wasn't really the reason why Cleveland won. Cleveland won because of about 5 or 6, maybe even 7 different reasons that all came together at once to conspire against Golden State. Things like injuries are going to happen to teams every season. Part of staying healthy is your style of play and how conducive it is to to the type of players that you have on your team. Also, your training staff. Golden State happens to have one of the best training staffs in all of sports. A lot of these other teams, they don't really play the style of play that's conducive to maximizing their roster. Guys get burnt out. They get put in the wrong position on the floor. They end up getting hurt. All right, these are the type of things that happen.
Then they got to take advantage, like the Cavaliers, of the Eastern Conference because they got what was left of the Cavaliers in the finals.
I wonder if San Antonio had got to the Cavaliers, would Skip be saying that they got to take advantage of a Eastern Conference? See, Skip is one of these guys, and I give him credit for it. And I see it a lot on the internet. You see a lot of people that try to stay relevant or be relevant to themselves by being trolls. All right, what the Bible calls naysayers. Basically, a troll is somebody who feels inferior, so they try to get attention for themselves by making asinine statements, outlandish, hyperbolic statements to get attention. It really is a reflection of a low self-esteem and insecurities. Skip Bayless, if you know anything about his history, was a wannabe athlete. He couldn't even become a prominent athlete in high school. This is why he, tends to attack major professional athletes with so much virulence, especially the guys who I think he sees a lot of himself in. I think deep down he looks at himself with a certain amount of disdain. So when he looks at guys like Allen Iverson or LeBron James or Floyd Mayweather or an Aaron Rodgers, he sees a lot of himself. He sees the person that he wishes that he could have became had he had the athletic gifts that those men had. Because Skip Bayless is very brash and braggadocious and confident. At least that's how he portrays himself on the outside. But I think that he has a lot of resentment towards those athletes for having the natural physical gifts that he didn't have.
So let's restate. Portland, first round, had caught fire when they acquired Jusuf Nurkic in late February.
Yeah, I'd like to see the roster of teams that they played down the stretch of last regular season where you say they caught fire.
Trade deadline. And then what happened just ahead of the playoffs, the first round of the playoffs, Nurkic broke his leg. I'm not saying that Nurkic would have led Portland to a monumental first-round upset, but...
Of course he wouldn't have, right? At best, maybe they win one game, and I doubt that, right? If Nurkic is fully healthy and Lillard has one of those games where he scores 45 and he's making 35-foot three-pointers, then maybe they win one game.
But trust me, he would have taken his pound of flesh. Golden State would have had a hard time dealing with him, and he would have taken something out of him and out of them, and he took nothing. So then Golden State got Utah without George Hill. All right, it's the point guard, no big deal, but guess what then happened? Western Conference Finals. Game 1, Spurs at Golden State, mid-third quarter. Wait a second, San Antonio's ahead by 23 at Oakland? You're kidding. And Zaza Pacheep shot happened. And there were...
Look, is it possible that was a dirty play? It's possible. Pachulia has a history of being borderline dirty. It didn't look like he necessarily consciously tried to stick his foot under Kawhi Leonard, but you never know. I've seen many cheap shots. Most of the cheap shots that I've seen mostly regard guys in the air and not getting knocked out of the air. Do you have guys who purposefully try to stick their feet under guys when they're taking jump shots? Absolutely. Jalen Rose has admitted to it. Bruce Bowen, a lot of other players have done it. I'm not necessarily sure if he did it there. If he did, then he was very wily because it certainly worked. But I'm not sure that San Antonio would have held on to win that game anyway. I've seen, just in my time watching basketball, I've seen great teams come back from big deficits at home that you may have thought were insurmountable. I remember back in '96, the Bulls were playing Orlando in the conference finals, game 2. They were down about 18, 19 points in Chicago, middle of the third quarter, and they came back and won that game. Right, I've seen a lot of strange shit. So, I mean, I don't put really anything. Hell, I remember Boston, when they played the Lakers back in 2008, they came back from a huge deficit at the half. They were down like 24. Strange things happen. And hell, Golden State beat San Antonio earlier in the regular season in San Antonio when they were down by over 20.
There was no more Kawhi and there was no more Spurs in that series. And by the way, the Spurs love to play in that building. They won last year's opener at Golden State by 29. And my Spurs had just caught fire. You remember Game 6 at Houston to finish off that series?
Without Kawhi.
What's that?
They played that game without Kawhi.
Without Kawhi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying they won by 39.
Mm-hmm. Without Kawhi.
Yeah.
You think the Cavs could win a game by 39 without LeBron?
By 30.
Oh, my God. Everything with this dude goes back to LeBron James. Hey, look, let me say this really quickly. One of the reasons why LeBron James' teams collapse when he's not around, and I mentioned this before, is because the system is centered completely around him. All right? He's the focus of every system that he plays in. When you have a team like San Antonio, their system is not focused around Kawhi Leonard. So when he goes out, even though they miss his contribution, they're able to stay above water for a game or two because the mentality that is imbued in the team by the coach, by Popovich, is that the parts are interchangeable. That you can come and you can replace a guy if it's for a game or a half. You can mimic what he contributes. When LeBron goes to a team, they make the entire focus of the team all around him. Okay? So when he's out, you're going to see that loss. You're going to feel it more.
39? I don't know. I mean, what's the point? They just won by 39, so they caught fire.
Okay. I just felt like mentioning my man. Every once in a while I like to mention somebody sexy.
And here they went. They're up by 23. What if Kawhi stays healthy and they win, dare I say, Game 1 and Game 2 at Oakland? What would have happened?
Yeah, they weren't winning no Game 2.
I don't know that.
You do know that.
I don't. They love that building. So what if they go up 2-0 going home to San Antonio? You know what? They're going to the finals, and they're going to beat Cleveland in 4 games.
Skip is the master of what if. That motherfucker just say what if. I mean, shit, what if I was black? I wouldn't be here with you, Shannon. I'd be in the NBA. What if? I don't know that. I don't know what would happen if I wasn't black. I think I am black, matter of fact.
Didn't San Antonio beat you in your building by double digits?
Golden State.
Yeah, Golden State beat you in your building, minus Kevin Durant after you had a 20-point lead.
Yeah, I actually thought they played a little better in his absence. Their chemistry was better, but then Kevin took over against LeBron in the finals, and he earned and won the MVP.
I think that stretch without Durant was very important for Golden State. I think it was very important for Steph Curry. It was important for him to show himself in the world that, yes, I am in the conversation for second best player in the league, in the world, right? There's a reason why I was the two-time MVP. Kevin Durant was not the two-time MVP. I was. And I've played the background because I'm magnanimous and I've given a lot of the reins over to him. But there's a lot that I can do as well. And I think that little stretch helped carry them into the playoffs because it showed Curry how important it is to his team for him to be aggressive.
He deserved the MVP. But the point is, then all of a sudden, Cleveland, I should say the other way around, Golden State gets to play Cleveland. What had happened to Cleveland? Let me restate. Now we know that Cleveland was a troubled basketball team because Kyrie already wanted out. So there was friction, there was some undercurrent going on. And over the last 46 regular season games, your Cleveland Cavaliers had gone 23-23, and they fell all the way to 22nd in the NBA in defensive efficiency. That's not very good. That was a sign. I kept telling you, something's wrong. How many times did I say that sitting here? Something's wrong with the Cavaliers. Kyrie versus
You
LeBron.
said a lot of things sitting there.
Okay. Well, I said there was something wrong. 23-23. So then you want to talk about cakewalking through the playoffs?
Stop it.
Because they got George Paul in the first round. Remember that?
Paul George.
Sorry.
Yeah, he is so disrespectful to Paul George. Paul George needs to see him in LA and smack the shit out of him. I'm sorry, Paul. I mean, it's just a show.
Sorry, that's right. It's Paul George. He played like George Paul
No,
in the
he
first
didn't.
round. Yes, he did. And then Toronto, give me a break. And then Boston with little Isaiah, except, wait a second, little Isaiah got hurt in game 2, so he wasn't even there for like 3.5 games.
And LeBron himself knew that there was going to be a huge leap in competition level from what he faced in the Eastern Conference as opposed to Golden State, because in the post-game press conference after they finished off Boston, he didn't even want to talk about Golden State because he knew it was coming.
So what happened to
Wow.
the game we beat them by 40, the first game?
Yeah.
Biggest opening round, number 1 seed losing the loss in NBA history.
In history, LeBron was just going up and down the court, shoulders glistening, ball spot just shining. I loved it. I wanted to kiss him on top of his head.
That should tell you all you need to know about Isaiah Thomas.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Did they have 12 Isaiah Thomases?
They
So what happened to Jaylen Brown?
get a little too dependent on
Al Horford.
Huh?
Al Horford. He good. He really good.
You know who's really good is Kyrie Irving. He's now a Celtic,
Oh, okay.
whether you like it or not.
Is he better than LeBron?
Oh my God. Everybody with this guy, is he better than LeBron? You'd be like, damn, Shannon, have you ever read Hamlet by William Shakespeare? Oh no, I think it'd be better if Brown wrote it. I think it'd be better.
We'll see. Yeah,
No, ain't no
we
way.
will.
Is he better than LeBron?
We will see. Yeah. His team is, as they stand right now, yes, he's better. His team is better
Why
than
you
LeBron.
do this?
Well, you know it and I know
I
it.
don't know
They're
nothing.
coming for you.
Coming for what?
Huh?
Okay.
And okay, so you get a second round draft pick. Is that going to help you next year?
No.
No.
Long as that guy from right up the road,
Mm.
on Akron,
Mm.
they got a Goodyear they sponsor.
Yeah. Senior citizen, LeBron James.
Don't worry about it.
Mm.
Don't you worry
They're around.
about it.
This is his 15th year.
Ain't
Don't worry about it. LeBron's like wine. Get older, he get better. Sweeter too. I love every minute of it. I love LeBron.
and
And
did it look like he was slowing down last year?
wow.
All-star. He was an All-NBA again,
Mhm.
consecutively,
Well, he played the most minutes of any player in the NBA in his
and
14th year.
played the most
That's
minutes in the
smart.
finals.
That's
And
smart.
averaged a triple-double.
Okay.
Averaged 30 against the Celtics. Averaged 30 against Toronto.
Yep.
Averaged 30 against Indiana.
Did all that and then still came home and was a great husband to me in Savannah. The man's a Superman. Raising kids, got 2 wives, loves us both equally. Best man in the universe.
Yeah.
So what, Skip?
Well, so what? All I know is that San Antonio, I think, will be at least as good as it was last year. So how can you tell me that all of a sudden Golden State got even more prohibitive as a favorite.
Because if you think about it, Skip, a team normally gets better, especially when you're building the second year. Because
Absolutely. That's the point that I made when I made my initial statements. Golden State came out, they won 67 games while adding a major piece like Kevin Durant and turning the team over to him mostly. I expect them to be much better this year. They might not even win 67 games, but they're going to be a much better team overall, assuming that they don't get hurt.
because
Even though I think that losing Ian Clark may hurt them down the stretch of the season.
you're even more comfortable. Everybody knows the hierarchy of how things are going to work moving forward. Skip, this team is loaded. And then you go out and get Omar Caspi, you go get Nick Young, you draft Jordan Bell. We know he can rebound, except the two he missed in Carolina when the kid in the meet backed him up under the basket. But Skip, this team is loaded. Skip, they're for real.
They're loaded.
I would be more shocked if they didn't win 70 games than if they did. They're that good, Skip.
They may go for 70. They definitely won't go for their record, but they will go for 70, I believe, if they have a chance to. Be the first team in NBA history to win 70 games twice.
Because here's the thing, what you got to understand. While the West got tougher, Minnesota, OKC, there's some teams in the West I think will be better. New Orleans will be better. Boogie Cousins will have an offseason to work with the team. But the East has gotten so much weaker. So they're going to probably sweep everybody in the East with the exception of, they're not going, who they're not going to sweep. Not in our building. We don't have that.
Well, I'll say this. Adam Silver may want to think about that provision of having the NBA playoffs be about the top 16 teams as opposed to separating it by conference. He may want to consider that, especially with how fluid the NBA free agency has become with guys going from team to team and demanding trades. I mean, the Western Conference now basically has all the talent. It's very imbalanced.
When you go to Q, ain't nothing going down. Ain't nothing jumping off.
Did Boston get weaker?
Skip!
Seriously.
Can I ask you a question?
I agree. Everybody got weaker except the Celtics got much better.
Well, Miami got better. Miami got better.
Yeah, they
The
did.
Heat got better.
I like the Heat.
But look, come on now, Skip. But look at the rest of the team. You lose Paul George. You lose Jimmy Butler. Kyrie goes from Cleveland to Boston.
Okay, so you think LeBron's going to cakewalk through the playoffs?
LeBron is going. Cleveland Cavaliers, a.k.a.
As soon as he starts talking about LeBron, he starts stuttering. LeBron fine as hell, ain't he?
the LeBron Jameses, will be the Eastern Conference representative in the finals. That is what I believe. You can call it cake, cupcake, cheesecake, pound cake, lemon cake, but we going and we eating it up.
And I'm going to be in the first row cheering on my man. Yeah, I believe that Cleveland will be back in the finals. For the simple fact that I'm not sure if Kyrie's going to make it through the whole season. He has a bad track record, a very bad track record in regards to his health and making it through an entire season. So we'll see how his knees hold up. But it's going to come down to Boston and Cleveland in the East. I have little doubt about that. Maybe Washington, but we'll see.
And I guess you're telling me if Golden State's even better, that this is going to be over in 3 games. It's going to be a 3-game sweep
You see what
where
you're
they'll
trying to do?
just say we're out. We don't even want to play the 4th
See
game.
what you try to
Tap
do?
out.
You know?
See what you try to do, Skip?
What?
You asked me a simple question. I told you what was going to happen. Then you try to flip it around because you know LeBron's going to get there. Oh, and now they'll get beat in 3.
I don't know that he's going to get
Oh,
there.
you know it.
No, actually, I have to side with Skip on that. How can you say that he knows that they're going to get there when he's been advocating for Boston? The real reason why he's trolling you is because you deserve to be trolled. You go out of your way to set all of these, almost supernatural expectations for LeBron James, and then you want to make excuses for him when he loses in the finals, and he will lose again this year if he gets there.
You know.
I kept telling you, Floyd Mayweather is 40 and a half years of age. And I'm going to keep telling you, LeBron is entering his 15th NBA season.
And cut a 29-year-old baddest man on the planet, a lion, a knockout artist. If he hits Floyd, he will hurt him.
Wait a second. Did you not admit during Monday's show several times Floyd, he looked a little old.
Yeah, Floyd, he's 40.
Oh, that's what I tried to tell you.
And
Yeah, he looked older, but what does that say about Conor McGregor? I don't know why the hell they're talking about that for. That fight is over. Floyd knocked him out, knocked him back. He knocked him back to Ireland where he belongs. And let me say this, I've already mentioned this. Conor McGregor will never be the same again. All right? He may win a couple of more bouts, but I would like to see him in another fight with Nate Diaz to see how he acts and how he reacts to pressure under fatigue. All right? But he's never going to be the same again. He made a very smart business decision, basically cashing out with that huge payday, which is really not going to be that huge a payday because after taxes it's $50 million. After the UFC gets their cut, he's probably going to get about $20 million. Then he has to pay his camp up, keep his lifestyle up. That money's going to be gone in an instant.
and the 29-year-old hit him flush with a punch he didn't see. Remember,
Hit him 111 times. How could that?
how can you be a knockout artist? But I just go over the show, Skip. You can paint 1,000 pictures and never be considered an artist. But Floyd Mayweather painted a masterpiece in 10 rounds.
It was. I thought it was his greatest triumph.
But you know what? You thought, he fought desperate. He fought.
He did.
No, hold on. That's not
Swinging from the
Hold
heels.
on.
That was one of the easiest fights of Floyd's career. The man laughed and joked all the way to the finish line. Give me a break.
Swinging and missing.
Conor McGregor said he didn't have speed. He didn't have
He
power.
said that.
He had what? Composure. So how can you be composed and be desperate at the same time?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. How could all he have is composure? So basically, Conor McGregor saying is that all it takes is composure to knock him out.
Isn't that oxymoronic? Like jumbo shrimp, like quiet riot. Keep it. I mean,
It's not composure. It's poise. That's what he's talking about.
He's like, give me your best. He's singing that song.
Look at Joy. Joy's getting frustrated. Whenever she hears Floyd Mayweather's name, she gets frustrated. Look, brothers, I can't tell you how much it aggravates certain people when they see the so-called black man with a ruling class mentality. What does that mean? Does that mean that you just say anything that comes, the first thing that comes into your mind? No. All that means is that you understand that you control your own fate. All right? That's what it means to have a ruling class mentality. It doesn't mean that you just talk a bunch of shit all day and you try to act like you're a king because you speak whatever the first thing is on your mind. Okay? That's not what a ruling class mentality is.
So who's saying that song? Hit me with your best shot. He's like, give me your best shot, Conor. Conor raved back. I'm talking about my jacket. He hit, the uppercut came from.
Yeah, you better open up that damn jacket because that thing will rip like one of them NBA tearaway suits if you rear back too fast.
Came from Reno, Carson City, right through the bay. Bam! That's all you got? You in a heap of trouble, Conor. Conor's like, uh-oh.
The one that hurt.
Floyd looked at Conor after he hit him with that uppercut like, Mom, let me just get 15 more minutes of sleep. He thought his mom was waking him up for school.
That hurt him was the straight left in the corner early in the
He
ninth
hit a
round.
low blow.
And the
Hit
Showtime
a low blow.
announcers screamed in unison almost.
Is the Ireland-
That hurt Mayweather. That hurt Mayweather. And Robert Byrd said, "Oh bleep, I gotta stop that."
Robert Dirty Bird. You could tell Skip is really hurt by that loss because they supposed to be talking about Golden State right now. Why the hell they talking about Floyd Mayweather? Floyd Mayweather, man, he's one of those guys. He's right there with what's the name? LeVar Ball. You see, it's a common theme. Whenever you're a so-called black man who has a ruling class mentality, people are going to be offended by it, right? They're going to be quizzical about why you're not concerned about their opinion. Once again, it doesn't not mean that you have the right to be irresponsible with your statements or your sentiments. But when they see that you march to the beat of your own drum, they are going to get massively offended.
Stop that.
No, you
Say
didn't
it.
stop it.
Dirty Bird
How-
steps right in.
how
Says,
close-
low
how
blow.
close- how close is-
Low blow.
How close is
What low
Poland to
blow?
Ireland? How close is Poland to Ireland?
Poland to Ireland.
Yeah, because that blow that Conor McGregor threw reminds me of that Franz Botha. Remember the foul pole? He hit the man low. You know he hit him low, Skip. Is that what you got to do? Hit the man in his private?
Hit him in the.
Of course, whatever works. Hey, Shannon, you'd be surprised. A lot of guys have tried to hit Floyd low, man. Canelo, Zab Judah, Cotto. These guys, they try to go low on Floyd for whatever reason. That's anything to slow him down.
In the side.
He hit him in his private.
He did not hit him
He
in the
did.
private.
You know know he did,
Oh,
Skip.
God.
But that's all right. Floyd said, yo, you want to be, and Skip. And then what happened?
The
What?
ref pulled him off. Poor little Floyd stuck in.
When Robert Byrd brought
Pulled him to the middle of the ring, and Connor's trying to jump over him and still sweat. Yeah.
Yeah, because Conor was desperate. Conor's kind of like, please, me need a knockout. Me need the knockout. I got to have him right now, any way possible.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
Floyd.
he got pulled off. He got a chance to finish him
So
off.
Floyd said, you want to be dirty? You want to be dirty? That we come over here, the referee bring us together, and you gonna reach over your shoulder and punch him in my face?
Yeah.
Okay, let me show you how punching, how you supposed to do.
Yep.
Hell yeah, because he sparked him in that last part of the 9th round. Floyd was mad as hell after that. Damn near knocked the man out in the 9th round.
Yep.
Like the old people
He
say.
did.
Let me show you how you supposed to do it.
Yep.
Pat Benatar.
Pat Benatar? Hit me. Oh, Carter. I mean, hit. Well, like,
Floyd's got a chin. He proved it against Shane Mosley.
Hold on.
He proved it against Cotto.
how?
He's got a
Hold
great
on,
chin.
Skip.
Great chin.
But you told me Conor McGregor hit harder than all of them.
Absolutely. Right? Yo, Floyd was laughing through that whole shit.
He did.
And walked through it.
Yeah.
A 40-year-old, 2 years inactivity, walked through a 29-year-old baddest man on the planet. Oh,
Had
y'all lying.
him in trouble in the
Gotta leave
corner
it there.
in the 9th round. Trouble. You know it.
Is
and
Marvin
But anyway, in regards to the topic of the video, Golden State, I expect them to win the championship once again this season. And I do expect them to challenge for 70 wins. It really just depends on what they want out of their regular season. But anyway, peace.